Okay, so you moved into your van, but now where do you sleep? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Hey guys, my name is Jordan Sparks and welcome back to my channel. If you're brand new here, I have been living in my 2009 Dodge Grand Caravan named Magical Mrs. Mistopheles for the last 2.5 months, or since New Year's Eve. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about 15 different places where you can park your vehicle to sleep for the night. So if you're interested in that, make sure to stick around and let's hop right into it. All right, so at the very top of my list, I have campgrounds. So use campgrounds. I'm currently at the St. Lawrence Park campground here in Brockville, Ontario. This park is actually, the campground section is currently closed. So I'm just using the park section. There's a giant parking lot here and I park here pretty much every day. There's also free Wi-Fi. So if you're ever in Brockville and you're looking for somewhere to park, at least for the day, to use free Wi-Fi, I would definitely recommend St. Lawrence Park. But during the summer, this is a campsite and there are tons of lots here. So I would definitely recommend using campgrounds wherever you can find them. There's some that are free, some that are very, very cheap, but they're both public and private, depending on what your needs are and what kind of environment you're looking for. And they often provide amenities like bathrooms, showers, sometimes even hookups for electricity and water that you're not going to find at some other sleeping arrangements. So campgrounds, that's why they're number one. Number two would be national parks and forests. So depending on the national park, a lot of them you're going to be able to sleep for free. As long as you can find somewhere to pull over that doesn't say no parking and it doesn't say anything about no overnight camping, you are good to go. So national parks and forests. Many national parks also have designated campsites inside them and they allow dispersed camping in certain areas. So definitely just make sure to research which national park or forest you're considering sleeping in, but that is number two. Sometimes you may need a permit or a seasonal permit or something, so it's definitely good to look into those things before. Now, if you're from the United States, this is a huge one, but BLM Land. So if you're not familiar with BLM Land, it stands for the Bureau of Land Management, and it is land in the United States that often allows free dispersed camping in designated areas. So I would definitely look into what BLM land is, especially if you live in the United States, because you have all of this land at your fingertips that you can use to sleep on. Next on my list is RV parks. Now, RV parks, fairly similar to campgrounds, but some of them can be a bit different in the fact that you have like your gray water and sewage disposal and all of your other amenities and hookups. Aside from that, they offer pretty similar amenities to a campground most of the time. Next on my list would be rest stops, and many highways have designated rest areas where travelers can park overnight or for a few hours if you just want to take a nap. So just check with any local regulations for overnight stays. A lot of the time they will have signs right there at the rest stop, whether you're allowed to sleep there or not. So just look out for signs like that. Otherwise, check your regulations. Number 6 on my list, which could also be number 1, is Walmart parking lots. This depends on your area. I specifically spend a lot of nights at Walmart parking lots. They're free. I can go inside and get a McDonald's coffee in the morning. I can use the bathroom and then just go on to another public area to spend my day, like St. Lawrence Park here, where I have free Wi-Fi. So Walmarts, you're going to have to check with each specific Walmart whether they are van life friendly. Some are not. Some are in plazas that are privately owned. Some of them just don't want anybody sleeping there. And Walmart as a corporation, on the other hand, in general, they definitely support van life and they consider van lifers to be some of their favorite customers because we spend so much money and we go into the Walmart like 30 days a month where most customers don't. So that's probably why they love van lifers so much. And yeah, just check with your local Walmart or whichever Walmart you're going to be staying at to see if they allow van life, and if they do, you're good to go. And next we have truck stops. Can be kind of similar to a Walmart parking lot, but a truck stop, travel centers often have designated parking areas for large vehicles, including vans. They may offer amenities like showers and restrooms as well for a fee, so that's good as well. I personally purchase a Planet Fitness membership, so I just shower wherever there is a Planet Fitness, but a lot of people like to use private showers or pay per use because they don't know if they're going to be traveling where there is a Planet Fitness, which it makes sense. Do whatever makes sense for you. But number 8 on my list is casinos. So some casinos offer overnight parking, but otherwise you can just be stealth about it. But some casinos offer overnight parking for RVs and vans in their parking lots. Just be sure to check with the staff if you want to make sure that you're doing it safely and that you're allowed to be there, and follow any guidelines that they have in place. And number 9 on my list of places that you can stay is public land. And this is a very big, broad one, but essentially in some areas, public land, anything such as state forests, wildlife management, you could sleep at any kind of nature reserve if they allow parking, any kind of park where they allow parking. Again, just make sure to check with regulations and obtain a necessary permit if you need any kind of permit and you're willing to pay for it. Now, number 10 on my list is boondocking. And boondocking is one of, I would say, the most popular forms of sleeping for people that do van life. A lot of people find boondocking areas where it's completely free. They can stay there in some areas for up to 2 weeks at a time, some areas longer, or some areas you may be able to pay a small fee and stay there for a long time. It really depends. But boondocking basically refers to camping in a remote or undeveloped area, often on public land or in rural areas. So make sure to follow the leave no trace principles like we talked in my other video about. So basically arriving, not making any big mess, making sure that you leave the place how you found it when you showed up. Number 11 on my list is apps that you can use or online resources. A huge one in the van life community and just travel community in general is iOverlander. But you can use websites and apps specifically designed for finding campsites and overnight parking. There's also Camp and Diem, I think that's how you say it, or All Stays that are similar to iOverlander, which will tell you just certain specific spots where you can stay and any regulations about them. Now, you can also use your local knowledge if it's somewhere that you are familiar with, just knowing if there's very specific places where you can park. Here in Brockville, I know that you can park at the Metro, which is a grocery store, and it says specifically overnight parking allowed this row only. So if you're planning to park overnight, you can do it there. But again, just follow any local rules or regulations. In order to find local places, just go by your own knowledge, or you can talk to locals or other van lifers in the area for recommendations on safe and legal places to park overnight. And then also social media groups, like groups on Facebook, van lifer groups on Facebook. There's lots of good advice there for where you can park in specific areas. You can join a van life or RV community on social media or Reddit, where members often share tips and recommendations for overnight parking spots. And then you have street parking. In some places, you can even just pay like the actual meter and sleep there right on the street. I've heard of people doing this in Toronto, so it just depends where you are. But in some urban areas, van lifers may find overnight street parking in residential neighborhoods even, or industrial areas. So be sure to check local regulations again so that you don't get a ticket and you don't get towed. Number 15, and the last one on this list of places to sleep, is hotels and motels. So a lot of the time people can just sneak into a hotel or a motel and sleep in the parking lot there because there's always people coming and going and you don't have a specific parking spot most of the time when you're at a hotel. And it is also typically very normal for people to have a van conversion or all of their stuff in their vehicle traveling around when they're staying at a hotel or a motel. And as well, some hotels and motels might even allow van dwellers to park overnight in their parking lots for free. So you can ask permission from the hotel beforehand, but remember to always prioritize your own safety, respect local regulations as always, and leave no trace when parking and camping overnight in your van at any of these places, really. But those are all of my different tips and 15 different places or ways that you can find places to sleep overnight when you're doing van life. If you found this video useful, make sure to give it a great big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel if you're brand new here. I post van life content and tips for van lifers. And if you missed my last video, you can check it out over here. And I also started a Patreon. If you guys want to sign up to my Patreon, you can support me for as little as a couple dollars a month to help support me to like get a coffee in the morning or something. I will leave the link down in my description box as well. And thank you to all of you guys that have been watching these videos, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.